The Detroit Tigers are in a position where, truth be told, they have no choice but to trade their Cy Young winner from last year, Tarik Skubal. I don't think there's a soul among us who thinks the Tigers will re-sign him, and I don't think that the Tigers themselves feel as though they will either, because if that was the case, there would have been no rumors at all throughout this offseason saying otherwise, because all they had to do was come out and just flat out squash it. And if I'm being candid with you as well, I do think it's the prudent move. Like, look, it's just not a smart baseball decision to let one of the best players in franchise history leave in free agency and all you get in return is a measly compensatory draft pick. Now, if I thought they had a chance to win the World Series, obviously that sentiment would be drastically different and you would have to just go for it and live with losing him for nothing next year. But that's not the case. Nobody thinks they're going to clip the Blue Jays, the Yankees, the Mariners, or even hell, the Red Sox if they were to get there. They're just not good enough as currently concocted. With that said, there's three teams that immediately come to mind for me that not only should but need to fall all over themselves to acquire the Cy Young Award winner. Warning, I will not mention the Dodgers. I will not mention the Dodgers. I will not mention the Dodgers. I will not. I promise. Alright, break. The Mets are so bereft of pitching that it's hard to even fathom that they have a top 3 payroll in the entire game and are based in New York. However, they do have a top 3 farm system, and I think if you utilize that right now to acquire Skubal to not only bolster your chances of competing in 26, but also to get a jump start on the bidding process for Skubal and get him in the building and sell him on your program. I think for those reasons, they should be the most aggressive in their pursuit because to my eye, there's not another team that has the pockets, the farm system, nor the need the Mets do. So take advantage of that. You're in NYM, so you don't have an embarrassing rotation in 2026. The Philadelphia Phillies have the tightest window to win in this sport right now, as the average age of their squad is over 30 years old, and the core is even older, with Bryce Harper, Aaron Nola, Trey Turner, and Kyle Schwarber all being 32 or older. With that said, that obviously portends a tremendous amount of pressure to win now and win a World Series right now. Trading for Skubal would obviously exponentially increase their chances of doing just that. And the rotation needs help. Who is the real Aaron Nola? Is he the pitcher that burst in on the scene, who became an all-star immediately in his career and was rewarded with a huge contract? Or is he the pitcher last year that got tattooed all over the yard every single start that amounted to a 6 ERA? Sans Christopher Sanchez and Jesus Luzardo, there's no one you trust to give you a quality start. If the Phillies can get their hands on Skubal, coupled with their offense that they have, they could finally win that elusive title. The Baltimore Orioles quite possibly could possess the most lethal lineup in the entire sport with Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Jackson Holliday, and now Pete Alonso and Taylor Ward. I mean, that's just deadly. I didn't even mention Jordan Westbrook. However, a lot like the Phillies, they're in win now mode and they need pitching. They could flip one of those names I just mentioned, like Jackson Holliday, because I've alluded to offensive depth for Skubal, and become formidable on the starting pitching end. There's all of a sudden a sense of urgency in Baltimore, as just a short time ago they won 90 games in back-to-back years, to finally get back to October and do some damage, especially after they fired their manager Brandon Hyde. And when you do have urgency in a division in the AL East with the Yankees, Red Sox, and of course Blue Jays, you gotta take significant swings and make significant moves to overhaul your roster, and that sure as hell would fit under that if you do in fact trade for Tarik.
Help me polarize, help me polarize, help me down.
If you like this video, consider commenting, liking, sharing with a friend, and subscribing.